Hello and welcome to the Copas Turkeys drive-through collection day. We are so excited that you're here and can't wait to give you your turkey and send you on your way for Christmas Day. While you're waiting in the queue, perhaps you might like to listen to one of our favourite stories, which is The Turkey Tale, which I wrote a few years ago with a wonderful illustrator called Jen Fisher. A turkey tale from a very, very special farm. There are some things in this story that you might see today when you visit King's Copas Farm. On a small farm in England, in a beautiful river valley, lived a fine flock of turkeys. 3 great turkey friends, Rosemary, Thyme, and Lavender, lived with their feathered playmates in the cherry orchard and wildflower meadows of Farmer Tom's farm. Life was good for the hens. They spent their days basking in the sun and taking dust baths, making music in their barns, hunting for worms and seeds, playing hide and seek in the long grass, and relaxing in their cosy barn. But one dark night, the barn was awoken with a clatter, a gobble, and the loudest squabble. Mr. Fox, the local thief, had broken into the turkey field to try and catch a turkey for the fox cub's supper. The next morning, Farmer Tom came down to the field to find the turkeys missing. Thyme, Rosemary, and Lavender gathered round and explained that Mr. Fox had broken into the field and taken 2 turkeys with him to his den for dinner. Sad and upset, Farmer Tom sat down on his hay bale and put his head in his hands. "How can I stop the cunning old fox?" he puzzled. "This will need a very clever plan." By the following morning, as the sun rose over the valley, Farmer Tom had hatched a plan. "A fence," he declared. "We'll build the finest fence Berkshire has ever seen to keep that rotter out." He set to work building it with his team. They worked very hard, and by sunset, the new shiny fence was finished. The next morning, Farmer Tom ran down to the field to find Mr. Fox had got in again. "What happened?" he asked Thyme. "He jumped over your very smart fence," she gobbled. "Even the very high, very smart fence could not keep him out." Tom sat down on his bale again and had a long, hard think. "The dogs," he exclaimed, "our famous turkey dogs. We'll keep them out all night and they'll protect the birds." He found the dogs and explained the plan for their nighttime adventure. The next morning, Farmer Tom walked down to the field, but was angry to find the turkey dogs fast asleep. "What happened?" he asked Rosemary. "They did their best," she gobbled. "But after a hard day's work herding us turkeys, the dogs were so tired they fell asleep, and Mr. Fox crept in once again." Farmer Tom returned to his hay bale. He sat and he pondered, overlooking his field. Suddenly his eyes lit up. "I've got it," he declared. "My son Tom, he can do the job. He can sleep in the day so he can stay up all night to look after the birds." And off he went to find young Tom. The next morning, Tom walked down to the field to find young Tom. "I'm sorry, Dad. I stayed awake all night looking at the stars, and I didn't hear a peep. I don't know how that crafty fox got in." Farmer Tom turned to Lavender to find out more. "That cunning fox dug a hole right underneath the barn," she gobbled. "He popped up and stole a turkey without a noise. It didn't even wake me up." Grumpy and cross, Farmer Tom went back to sit on his hay bale once more. What's next? He wondered. He waited and wondered and waited some more. Then slowly he started to smile. "Hang on," he exclaimed. "I have an idea." And he drove out of the farm with his Land Rover and trailer. Farmer Tom drove high and low across the country in search of his idea. Thyme, Rosemary, Lavender, and the turkey dogs, young Tom and their feathered friends waited patiently for his return. They waited and they wondered and they waited some more. Until one morning they heard the revving of the Land Rover around the country lanes. Farmer Tom was back, but not on his own. "I've got them," he announced as he opened his trailer with a very, very big smile on his face. "Meet Sage and Onion," said Farmer Tom, revealing 2 beautiful alpacas, our new team members. "They will be the best security guards this farm has ever seen." They were set to work that very night. And would you believe it? For the first time in weeks, the birds slept soundly and safely in their barn without any interruptions. Night after night, the peace continued on the farm. So pleased with his idea, Farmer Tom found a few more alpacas. And now, should you pop down and visit Farmer Tom's farm today, like you are today, you'll find the fine flock of turkeys protected by a fine herd of alpacas. Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donna and Blitzen, and Sage and Onion, of course. Until we see you next, everyone on the farm wishes you and your family a very, very special Christmas time. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy your Christmas turkey this year, as always, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Merry Christmas.